5 after. It looks like sign-ons have slowed down a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody. Wednesday, September 15th. Good day to have a good day. So Dave Shirley, if you could get the flag up for us, we will do, thank you. We're gonna do Pledge of Allegiance. Feel free to mute or you can be live, whatever you prefer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks, Dave. Next up, do we have a volunteer for our invocation or motivational phrase? And you'll have to bear with me because I have to scroll through everybody. So if somebody's, Anne, I see your hand.
Yes. Okay, each of us is a minority with respect to something. It might be race, religion, sexual orientation, nationality, or any other way. We may be regarded as different. Each of us is also part of some majority. And it's when we wear our majority hats that we need to be most mindful of how we treat others. We must pledge our best efforts to help one another and defend the rights of all of our citizens and residents. Close quote.
All right, thank you. I like that one.
Great. Yeah.
Okay, so our guest today, I'm going to introduce our speaker, Lauren Olander. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And then I want to announce our newest member, Zia. Welcome, Zia. Thank you for joining us. And then all of our visiting club members, I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves and just give a real brief, your current role or your past role and which club you're with. So I'm going to start with Steve. Who have you got there with you?
Dave Crowther is next to me, and Cindy Crowther will be on with us in a minute. And both Dave and Cindy are past lieutenant governors from this division. And I'm a past governor and your current lieutenant governor.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. All right, Bill, you are next on my screen.
Okay. My name is Bill Gowan. I'm currently a member of the Prineville Club, have been for about 11 years. And I'm following in Steve's footprints. I'm to be the lieutenant governor beginning October 1st for, let's see, they call it District 78, District 70, or Central Oregon, whatever you want to use as a term. So I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome. Thank you. I appreciate your service this upcoming year as lieutenant governor. You got me off the hook for 1 year.
It's being recorded, right?
You got that down, Rachel?
Yeah, you and I are going to have to talk, seriously.
Okay. All right. So up next, I've got Jackie Sue. Sorry, it switched on me. Linda, I've got you next.
Oh, I'm Linda Walker, and actually attend more of the Redmond Club meetings and fundraisers than I do practically anything else. But I belong to the Cascadia Club, and I'm a past lieutenant governor for 4 different years.
This is
We love
true.
you.
Yeah, this is true. Linda spends a lot of time with us, and we very much appreciate her. All right, Jackie Sue, you are up next on my screen.
Thank you. So I am Jackie Sue McFarland, a member of the fabulous Cascadia Kiwanis Club. I'm this year's president for a few more days and also a past governor of our district. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bear with me. I'm scrolling through here. Lonnie, I think you are up next.
Hi there. I'm Lonnie Johnson. I'm your serving district governor, as Jackie Sue said, for a few more days. And I'm a member of the Cascadia Club and past lieutenant governor from Division 86, now from heretofore known as Cascade Siskiyou Division in Southern Oregon.
All right, welcome, Lonnie. Thank you for being here today. And then I see a screen for, it looks like Lieutenant Governor Tom Sremek, but it looks like he might have stepped away.
I could probably go in his stead.
Sure.
Tom is a current Kiwanian with the Medford Club, but due to business reasons, he's joining Cascadia for this next coming year.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you for doing that. Okay, I think I got everybody. Just gonna do one more check. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so announcements for today. I've got a birthday coming up on the 17th, Katie Mercer. So if anybody sees her, wish her a happy birthday. And then next up, I've got volunteer opportunities. Make sure you wave your hand at me if you want to speak. All right, I'm not seeing any hands. So I know we've announced this before, but I'll say it again. We've got our Kiwanis Food Project. Our goal is 700 pounds this collection round. So if you need a bag or any additional information, make sure you get in contact with Earl Fisher. He will get you hooked up. And we're looking for 700 pounds because our goal is 2 tons for this year. And that's how much we need to make that goal. So, okay, let's see. Michelle Duff has graciously accepted the nomination to vice president. So you should have gotten a ballot. Please make sure you complete that ASAP and have it turned in by Thursday so we can complete that. Any questions, let me know. And then, Chris, did you want to talk about road cleanup today?
Yes, please. Thank you. So road cleanup, it's our little stretch of highway just at the interchange up where Home Depot is, up to right around that other Cinder Butte. It'll be October 2nd. We're going to meet at Pappy's Pizza at 8 a.m. So it's a little bit earlier. I'll have all the vests, signs out, and then I will be providing breakfast burritos, coffee, / whatever the coffee shop has here next door afterwards. So if you come and pick up garbage with me, I will buy you breakfast. I hear that's a John Hodecker tradition that I'm going to bring back.
Love it. Okay.
October 2nd. Please let me know if you can come. Thank you.
Yes, I will be there. I will be there, and my husband will be there.
Sounds like bribery to me.
Exactly what it is, Roland.
Whatever it takes to get the job done.
Okay. All right. So next up, we've got happy dollars. So make sure you wave your hand at me if you are happy today. Earl.
I have, I think, $5. I'm happy because we just got back from the coast. We spent 5 days over there, and we were there when there was absolutely no wind. The sun was out. The ocean was nice and calm. It was just a beautiful experience. We're glad to have that opportunity. I'm also happy that, although I wasn't here last week, the week before, Michigan State beat Northwestern in the opening game. That was a good experience for the Spartans. Glad to see Ohio State, who Michigan State doesn't care a whole lot about, got defeated. And they were happy to see that Oregon is the team that defeated them. And I'm really happy that Michelle Duff has stepped forward to help us in our need. And lastly, I'm really glad that we've had a number of people ask for bags for the food project. So if you want more bags, give me a call. Thank you.
Thanks, Earl. All right, Chris, you're next.
I've got $5. I was happy for Rocktoberfest and also throwing a 30-pound sack of grain the farthest.
Okay, Josh, you're next.
All right, I've got $5 happy. I'll start with Rocktoberfest and watching Chris throw that 35-pound bag a mile forward. That was awesome. Another $1 for an OSU win. Kids are back in school, so that's super exciting. My daughter has decided to try volleyball for the first time, and she's actually fantastic. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And then lastly, tomorrow, my wife and I are heading down to Arizona for a long weekend. So we're excited.
Nice.
Cool.
I have a question. Does that Kiwanis indemnity agreement include, does it cover us for hernias as well?
I didn't see that in there, so I'm going to guess no, but my governor can help.
Ian.
Yeah, I want to say I'm just super happy that the silent auction is over. Out of 49 winners, all but 3 of them have either picked up or had their things delivered by me. So it's almost completely finished. And my house has come back to normal.
Was that $1 in?
That will be 5.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, John Duff, we'll have you go next.
So I got $10. Let's just start off with the big one. Oregon took 10 tries, but they finally beat Ohio State, and to do it on a big national stage in their house was just a beautiful thing. I was pretty happy during Oktoberfest, celebrating for multiple reasons. But it was a great win. The other dollars are for a great event. It was great to have so many volunteers there. So I'm going to give props to Michelle and Hannah for getting a lot of people there. But then some people just showed up that weren't on the list. So people like John Meyer and Matt Gilman and just showed up and helped out, and that was great to see. The other big one is Sunday. Michelle and I take Olivia to school, so kind of a sad happy dollar there. It's a new chapter, but at the same time, the house is going to be a little different. So we're looking forward to that. But anyway, that's my $10.
All right, thank you. Okay, Michelle, we'll have you go next.
Okay, well, John took 2 of them, but we're super excited about Olivia. And then also the volunteers and Hannah. Thank you guys for stepping up. Bill's on this call too, and he came from Prineville, and we did it by the, we got through it. The cleanup and setup went really, really well, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you. I'm happy for that. I also am happy. I owe you guys some happy dollars for my spell check on my computer. If anybody saw the word shifts not come through correctly, it's not my fault. And then finally, guys, if all goes well and I'm on the ballot for tomorrow and become the VP, one of my jobs is to get speakers for our club, right? That's my main responsibility. And Penny's done a great job, but we still have some openings even for October, and then nothing through November. So if you guys have suggestions, please email me individually with people that I can call. We've got a couple good ones coming up. I just got the Oregon High Desert Thunder team to come speak to us, which is kind of interesting, and the irrigation, Mike Britton with the irrigation system. So we do have some good ones coming up, but if you could email me individually for people you'd like to see come into the club to speak, please do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Michelle?
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Who won the Traeger?
Oh, I wish Dan were here. It was not somebody from our club. It was her name was Katie McMilligan or something like that. I'm sorry, I don't know. But it was not somebody from one of the Kiwanis clubs. It was an outside community member. So
darn, I wanted an address because I expect the output is going to be delicious.
Well, and I think we'll make sure to send her a membership application why she likes us so much.
There you go.
Okay. All right, Mike, go ahead and go for it.
Okay, I'll go for $5 happy. Got to go to Corvallis and watch the Beavers win and actually see a game in person and tailgate. We started off the morning by watching the granddaughter run cross country at State and on the way over, and made it a fabulous day. She had a great run, and Willamette has got a super cross country team, both girls and boys, and JV team.
Nice. Okay, and I have to apologize. I got a little bit of ahead of myself with Zia being here today. Zia, so I don't know if you've experienced happy dollars before, but our club believes that there's enough negativity in the world. We'd rather focus on the positive. So if you want to share something you're happy for, or several somethings, please feel free to share with the group for a donation of $1 a piece. And then we each get an invoice that just shows us exactly how happy we've been for the last month.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for the intro. So I have, I'll do 5 happy dollars as well, since I want to be part of the club. My kiddo, who's 11, started middle school and joined the cross country team. And though it's been hard, he's sticking with it. So we're happy for that. Also, I planted a little row of trees in my yard, so I'm very happy for that. And today we're covering them from the deer so that they're gonna grow. So that's really, really exciting. I'm really happy for that. And I'm happy to be here, part of the Kiwanis, and seeing how I can contribute to the community.
Thank you for being here. Okay, and then Tom, I see you're back. We had Cindy announce you earlier. You'd stepped away for just a moment, but I wanted to say hi and welcome.
Hello. I'm sorry I had to step away. I had to meet with president of Table Rock, Kiwanis, to hand her some certificates and stuff. So anyway, but it's good to be here, and happy to be here. I'm outgoing lieutenant governor for 82, so, or at least which was 82. I don't know what the numbers are anymore. So Cascades is due. So it's good to be with you guys.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna do one last run through for happy dollars. So make sure you're waving at me so I can see it. Those boxes are really small on my screen. Roland.
Okay, I'll add $5. I'll reiterate a couple selections already. The successful Oktoberfest and all the fun that created in downtown Redmond. Especially the help that a few people already noted contributed to the success of that. Then I will add that this coming weekend, we're going up to Gresham to help my son celebrate his wife's 50th birthday. So my other daughter's family from Pendleton will be joining us. We'll have a family get together. So, thank you.
All right. Okay. I think that's it. All right, so our joke today, what time is it when the clock strikes 13?
Time to get it fixed.
I have time to get a new clock. Yes, either one. All right, okay, so we are ready for our speaker today. Lauren, I'm gonna let you have.
All right. Can you hear me okay? Because I'm having some internet connection. So if I lose you, hopefully I won't. So my name is Lauren Olander. I'm the Chief Development Officer for Ronald McDonald House Charities of Oregon and Southwest Washington. I know some of you on the call have heard me speak before. I know Chris, Josh, you guys have been in the house and volunteered and spent some time with us. So what I want to do is share some information about the organization, who we are and what we do. But I thought before I started talking, I'm going to attempt to share my screen and let one of our families tell their story to give you a sense through families' eyes, what we do here at Ronald McDonald House. So bear with me, technology is not my strength. So I'm going to see if I can do this. Let's see. Are you able to see a screen with the family video?
So far, so good.
Can't hear you though.
No sound though.
sound, Lauren.
Can you guys not hear this?
No.
No.
Ooh. I've got volume on, so I think I'll send you guys the link separately. And can you guys hear me okay?
Hear you, not the presentation.
Okay, I'll send you guys the link separately so I don't take up my time with you guys on that. But, oh, sorry, it's going again. I'm gonna attempt to kind of talk through a little bit of Ronald McDonald House Charities and what we do. I'm gonna attempt again to share a different screen. Will you guys let me know if you can see a PowerPoint?
Yep.
Okay. So House Charities, we are a home away from home that we provide lodging and a place for families to stay when they have to travel for medical care. So if you think about in all of Oregon, all of our rural communities, anytime those families have a child in the hospital, a child that needs to travel to a bigger city for medical care or a doctor's appointment, or even an MRI or an outpatient procedure, many of those families are having to travel for hours to get to Portland, to get to Bend, to get to Springfield, any of where our major hospital systems are. So when those families have to travel far from home, they are welcome to stay at a Ronald McDonald House. So most of the time when people think about Ronald McDonald houses, if I were to ask them to close their eyes and share with me, what visual comes to mind, they typically describe the St. Jude commercial to me, which is oftentimes true at our Portland houses, that we do serve a lot of families with kiddos with pediatric cancer. But really a qualifier to stay at a Ronald McDonald House purely is that the patient has to be under the age of 22 years old. It is not just kiddos, littles that most people think of when it comes to Ronald McDonald House. So as long as the patient is under 22 years old, that family would qualify to stay at a Ronald McDonald House. The patient does not have to be hospitalized. So it could be an issue that a family is driving to Bend to see a specialist, or a family is driving to Bend for an outpatient procedure. So it's not just hospitalization. So it's a much broader window than oftentimes people think about with Ronald McDonald House Charities. For a family to qualify to stay at a Ronald McDonald House, there is no financial qualifier on either end. So we are not housing for low income. We are not housing for people that can, pay a certain price to stay with us. Everything we provide for families is complimentary. The only thing that they have to really meet a threshold of is the patient under 22 years old, and are they receiving medical care? And if so, they qualify to stay at one of our houses. Our house here in Central Oregon, the majority of families that stay with us are families that have a baby in the neonatal intensive care unit. That baby was born premature, born with some health complications, just needs a little extra time in the hospital to kind of grow and get healthy enough to come home. So typically that's what we see here in our Central Oregon house. We have a house in Springfield that very similarly, a lot of those families that stay are families with a baby in the neonatal intensive care unit. Our Portland houses have a little more variety because we have two children's hospitals in Portland, one at Dornbecker, one at Randall Children's Hospital. So we have a Ronald McDonald House on each of those properties. So we can serve any family that's traveling to a children's hospital for support. And families that stay with us, they can, as long as that child is receiving care, they are welcome to stay in our houses. There's no time limit. So I think our Bend house so far, the family that has stayed with us the longest was actually a Redmond family that stayed with us for 159 nights. They had a baby in the neonatal intensive care unit. So we had mom and dad staying with us. We had the 2-year-old, 5-year-old, and 8-year-old brother and grandma and grandpa staying with us. And they stayed with us for 159 nights. The only reason that they checked out was the baby needed a higher level of care. So the family was transferred to a children's hospital in Ohio, Nationwide Children's Hospital. Had that family stayed here in Central Oregon, they would have been able to stay with us as long as they needed. So for families that are dealing with long-term stays in the hospital, you can only imagine the financial impact on those families of just hospital bills. So when a family stays with us, our goal is to provide everything that family would need, from lodging to a place to do laundry, all of their meals, all of their food needs, really everything they need. So they only have one thing to think about, and that's caring for their child. So that is ultimately our goal when a family stays with us. And we want to be that place that a family can be no farther than across the parking lot from their child when their child's in the hospital. Or if the child is outpatient, we know that there are studies that show that children heal faster when families are together and they have the love and support of their family around, as well as families are in a much healthier mental place when a family can stay together when they're going through a pretty traumatic event. So that is something that we are able to provide to families. So here in Oregon, we have 4 Ronald McDonald houses. Like I said, the 2 in Portland, our newest house in Springfield, are here in Bend, our house here in Bend. We also have what we call hospitality carts at all of our hospitals. So if you think of candy stripers, any of you that might be mature enough to remember the concept of a candy striper, we have hospitality carts in hospitals throughout the state that are volunteer-run programs. Right now, because of COVID, those hospitality carts are not running in the hospital because all of our hospitals have so many restrictions with regard to visitors in the building and things like that. So those hospitality carts are actually running within our houses as well, so we can support families at any level they need. One of the really special things that happens in all of our houses, and we've been able to do this even during COVID in a very safe way, is almost every single night we have volunteers that come into our Ronald McDonald houses and cook home cooked meals for our families every night. So after a long day in the hospital, a long day of doctor's appointments, a long day of treatment, when those families come back to our house, they're pretty mentally spent, they're exhausted. And really the last thing they have the energy to think about is, you know, cooking dinner, preparing dinner, what's for dinner. So it's something that we can provide for them, is a home cooked meal. And our families are really touched by the fact that community members that don't even know them come together as a community and really support them and are there for them to make sure all of their needs are met. So that is it's probably one of our biggest volunteer programs. So as an organization, if you are ever looking for volunteer opportunities, please let us know. We love to have volunteers in the house. If any of you don't already know this, Chris Ritchie is a fabulous cook because he and his family have come in our house and cooked brunch for us. And he makes a pretty amazing breakfast casserole. So make sure he shares with you his recipe there. The other thing we've been able to do with our houses and the space within our houses during the last year and a half, at the very beginning of COVID, when we were all kind of trying to figure out how to maneuver what should be open, what should be closed, we did have a period of time that we were not accepting new families into the house just until we could kind of figure out how to do it safely. So our Bend house specifically, for 7 weeks, we turned our house over to first responders and frontline caregivers. So those nurses, doctors that were working in the ICU and working with COVID patients, and they were afraid to go home to their own houses and bringing COVID into their own house, we were able to kind of turn our house into a safe space for those first responders and frontline caregivers for about 7 weeks, so they could stay with us in a safe environment and not bring any risk to their own personal families. So that was something really special for us, that we were able to serve our community in a different way than we traditionally do, but it was a way to step forward and support where we could. We also last summer, specifically our house in Springfield, when we had all of our wildfires and there were so many communities that were destroyed, we had many nurses, doctors, hospital workers at Peace Health that lost their homes and didn't have any place to stay. So we were able to turn over about 15 of our rooms at our Ronald McDonald House in Springfield to those doctors and those nurses, so they could still go to work, they could still show up, but had a safe place to stay, had meals, and their families were welcome to come with them as well. So although it is not traditionally what Ronald McDonald House Charities does, it is really special to work for an organization that we can pivot and move and figure out how to serve our communities in a lot of unique ways. Through all of COVID, we have kept all of our houses open. We have not had to shut down at any point and have been able to serve families in our communities. So we are really blessed and really lucky we've been able to do that. So our Bend House specifically is probably one of our most unique Ronald McDonald houses. We are one of the smallest houses in the country. We have 6 family suites. Each of our suites can sleep up to 6 adults, and we have pack and plays and cribs if we need to expand upon it. But the thing that's really special about our Bend House, for any of you that have been in it or haven't been in it, our Bend House is a timber framed house, and all of the timber are old growth trees from Drake Park and the banks of the Metolius. Our house was built 26 years ago. The Timber Framers Guild of North America used our house as a master class to teach timber framers from all over the world how to do our particular type of timber framing of this house. So if you can imagine in movies where you've seen kind of the old-fashioned barn raising, that was how our house was brought up. And really the rest of the community stepped forward and helped build the rest of the house around our beautiful timber framing. So when this house was built 26 years ago, it was built by the community for the community to serve our community. And 26 years later, our house is ready for a facelift and needs some support. Everything in the house, other than our kitchen, is original. So you can imagine there's lots of green linoleum and 1-inch by 1-inch tiles that needs a little bit of a facelift. All of our systems are original, our hot water heaters, our HVAC, our windows, everything. So we are in the middle of a $1 million capital campaign to remodel and upgrade the interior of our house. We are not touching our beautiful timber framing. The timber framing of our house, this house will probably stand for another 300 years based on the build of this house, but the interior needs some upgrades and just modernization. I think every time I get on our internet, our Wi-Fi is about 1 step above dial-up, so I'm never really quite sure how long it's going to last. So time to upgrade our systems. To give you a visual, I'm hoping you can still see my PowerPoint. The picture that you see is when our house was built. In addition to the fun of the timber framing photo, to me, it's also fun that if you look in the background, there are no buildings. We currently sit on the property of St. Charles. So when this house was built 26 years ago, really the only building was the hospital building. So you can see there's lots of trees and sagebrush that now are replaced with buildings. When I talked about our timber framing, here are some current pictures of how our house currently looks. The house serves our families, but it does need a facelift. See, that's in the middle of our great room. All around all 4 sides of the fireplace are the names of every community member that was part of bringing this house up and opening this house. And it really was a community project. And it's something that we hope through this capital campaign, our community will continue to support and really be a part of this house being here for another 25 years, serving the community. And there's lots and lots of different ways to get involved. One of the ones I mentioned was volunteering in our kitchen and helping cook for families. If you're on Facebook, we have a Facebook page, Ronald McDonald House of Bend, and every Wednesday we list Wish List Wednesday. So any of the things that we need in the house or we need for our families or our kitchen, whether it's laundry detergent, a new vacuum cleaner, whatever it may be, we list on our Facebook page. And we also list in Amazon wish list. So that's another great way to be able to support the house. If you are interested in wanting to help support meal support for our families, you can always drop off a meal. It does not have to be cooked in our kitchen. If you're going to drop off a meal, we do ask that it was prepared in a commercial kitchen or as takeout from a restaurant, or prepared foods from Costco, but we do make that request. And one of the biggest things really that were you to ask me the question of what can we do to help, it would be to be an advocate for Ronald McDonald House Charities and make sure people in your community know we exist and we are there for them as well. Most of our referrals do come through the hospital system and our social workers, but there are many families that need the support of Ronald McDonald House or a place to stay when they're receiving medical care, that if they don't come through the hospital system or don't come through the social workers, oftentimes they miss knowing we're a place for them. So, we try to be in every community and have that word out and participate in local organizations, chamber events, speaking engagements like this, but really the knowledge that you take away from today's call, even if it's just remembering that there's a Ronald McDonald House charity here in your community and that we support families when patients under 22 years old. If all you tell someone to do is call Ronald McDonald House, we can take it from there. So I know I gave you a lot of information, but I want to leave room for questions or things like that, because I know there's a lot of things that I can share some information, but there may be specific questions you guys have or things I can share, or Josh or Chris from being in our house or participating, if there's anything that you guys feel like left an impression on you when you were in the house, I'd love you guys to share as well.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren. It was so we did a meal or a brunch with another group, and that was awesome. It was fun. It was a good time to connect with other people. And normally you guys don't have a brunch, I think, and that was something nice that they didn't have. There's also a phenomenal outdoor cooking area that rivals any, anything that I've ever seen. And I'd be willing to put a group together that from Kiwanis and lead that charge if anybody on this call is interested. It's really simple, and it just means a lot. I think that was the thing where I just like to cook, and it meant a lot for these people to say, "Oh wow, breakfast burritos, breakfast casserole." I've spent some waking nights at hospitals, and if I had to spend that away from home, a nice home cooked meal would have been great. So that was what drove me, and it's Lauren and her staff have made it so easy. So I'm happy to continue to support you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I would echo that. I would say, you guys are a pretty well-oiled machine, but that comes with experience and with the help of the community and all the hands-on, not only your employees, but nonprofits and other people that are willing to come in and help and work with you guys. You're vital. Without you guys, the system isn't what it is. And so, I kind of want to thank you for what you do. I think where you guys land in the hierarchy of needs is pretty high. And I think that, you're underappreciated, if that maybe sounds right. So having you come and share with us, people maybe who don't know what the Ronald McDonald House does specifically is always very, very important. And I think just continuing to spread your word, continuing to, just share with people what it is that you guys do and how important your mission is, I think is vital. So thank you. Thanks, Lauren.
Oh, thank you. One of the things that is really unique to think about our Ronald McDonald House here in Central Oregon is that 90% of the children's hospitals in the world have a Ronald McDonald House. So we have 377 Ronald McDonald Houses around the world. So the fact that we have a Ronald McDonald House here in Central Oregon, where we don't have a children's hospital, we don't have a hospital system that treats pediatric cancer, it's really unique to have a Ronald McDonald House. And the reason our Ronald McDonald House exists here is for a couple of reasons. St. Charles, their neonatal intensive care unit, is the only level 3 NICU east of the Cascades. So any family that has a baby that is born premature or with any health issues, and they're either taken by ambulance, life flight, and need to be in a NICU, we pretty much serve all the way to Boise and as far south as Northern California. In addition, with Central Oregon being such a tourist destination, if you think about all of the families that travel here on vacation and mom's pregnant and something unexpected happens, goes into preterm labor, they're going to end up here at St. Charles in Central Oregon. So not only do we serve our own community, we serve, like I said, pretty much all the way to Boise, down south to Northern California. Also, if the NICUs in Portland or Springfield are overflowing, those families will be sent to us as well. We also in Oregon have much more lenient surrogacy laws than other states have. So we have a lot of families that stay with us that have a surrogate birth mom here in Central Oregon, that the surrogate is giving birth at St. Charles. So that family, no matter where they live in the country, are flying here to meet their child for the very first time. The other thing that's really unique about our Central Oregon house is that we will also provide a home away from home for high-risk pregnancy moms. So if a mom needs to be within, 5-10 minutes of the hospital and they don't want to be, in the hospital for weeks on end, and the doctor is fine with them being out of the hospital, but within 5 or 10 minutes, those moms can stay with us until baby is born. So really, in addition to being a place for families to stay, when I first started with Ronald McDonald House about 3 years ago, we had a family from La Pine that stayed with us. Mom was a high-risk pregnancy. They checked in when she was about 22 weeks along in her pregnancy. And when she was at about 24 weeks, I was standing in the kitchen one morning having a cup of coffee with her, and she started hemorrhaging. Because our house is right across the street from the hospital, we were able to get her over to the family birthing center within a few minutes. And her baby was born at 24 weeks. And the doctor had said, had she been standing in her kitchen in La Pine, not only would the baby not have survived, she would not have survived. So, in addition to being a place to stay, we can be a life-saving situation for a family or for a mom that's at risk like that. So, it's really special for us to have this house here in Central Oregon and serve our community in a really unique way than some of our more traditional Ronald McDonald houses do. The other main reason that our house does exist here in Central Oregon is our two local McDonald's owner-operator families, the Bittlers and the Rodbys, and now Scott Carrigy. Those families 26 years ago really went to bat with Ronald McDonald House Charities global headquarters to say how important it was to have this house here. So our relationship and our partnership with our local owner-operators is really critical to us. And for those of you that don't know, since everyone always asks me, like, what is the connection? The connection is that in the early 80s, one of the Philadelphia Eagles football players' daughter was diagnosed with cancer. And he was very close friends with one of the Philadelphia McDonald's owner-operators. And the football player and his family were driving back and forth 2.5 hours every day to get to a children's hospital in Philadelphia to receive treatment for their daughter. So he was talking to the local McDonald's owner and said, wouldn't it be great if there was a house or someplace families could stay together close to the hospital? So that particular McDonald's owner-operator in Philadelphia thought, well, what if we just do a local fundraiser? We put out a donation box and see what happens. And they did that and raised enough money to purchase an older home and convert it into a Ronald McDonald House. So the very first fundraiser ever to create Ronald McDonald House Charities was the Shamrock Shake. So if any of you ever have a Shamrock Shake in March, you can know that that was really the first creation to create a Ronald McDonald House. And after the house was created in Philadelphia, Ray Kroc decided that that would be the legacy that he would leave with McDonald's. And we are the charity of choice and the charity partner for every McDonald's owner operator in the world. Every McDonald's owner operator in their franchise agreement is required at some level to support their local Ronald McDonald House. So we are forever grateful for that partnership and McDonald's support. That being said, they do not own us. They do not financially pay our bills. They are a true charity partner like many others in the community. So we are grateful for them, but oftentimes people, ask the question like, well, why do you have fundraisers? Doesn't McDonald's own you? And the answer is no. And we do not serve hamburgers and French fries at the Ronald McDonald House. So every now and then we have barbecue once a year that they do help out, but it is not it is not the food that is served on a regular basis. But we are truly grateful for our local owner operators that do support our houses throughout the state. So questions, other things I can share about our house, our capital campaign, how to be involved. Or Rachel, did I say everything I could ever say about Ronald McDonald House that there are no?
Yeah, you're doing good. I'm just scrolling through looking for hands. Earl, you're on mute. Earl, you're on mute.
That may have been the best part of the whole time. That may be on mute. But Kiwanis and Ronald McDonald have a good connection by way of the Dornbecker program that we support as Kiwanis as a whole. And if you have a kid in Central Oregon that has to go to Dornbecker, that's a long ways to go. So it's nice to have, particularly if you don't have a lot of money, to be able to have a place to stay up there. So we really appreciate that connection, and I want to make aware that anything we can do to help Dornbeckers or Kiwanis, we'll be glad to do, as well as to help Ronald McDonald.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And that's a really great point, is that, you know, oftentimes, even though our house here in Central Oregon, as being a statewide organization and having 4 houses throughout the state, there are many families from Central Oregon that the care that they need or the specialists they need, or especially for dealing with pediatric oncology, can't get care here in Central Oregon. So when they do travel to Portland, we do have 2 houses there as well. So although oftentimes when I talk to donors, you know, they say, I want my money to stay local. I only wanted to support the Bend House. And yes, we want to support the Bend House, but we do want to support all of our houses, because at some point you might find yourself in a situation where Central Oregon doesn't have the medical care your child or grandchild needs, but Portland does. So it is really important for us as a statewide organization to make sure all of our houses are supported and available for any families, no matter where they live.
An excellent point. Thank you. All right, everybody, if you've got a question, now's the time. I'm scrolling through. I'm not seeing any hands. Okay. All right. I think we're done for
Don
today.
has a question.
Don has a question.
Just as a comment, the Redmond Kiwanis Club goes back a long way with Ronald McDonald House, and there were a number of our teams from the club who actually were involved with the original construction and decoration, painting, etc., sheetrock, deck, all those things, as part of the construction of the original house, the beautiful frame house that it is. And so we, for new members, just be aware that we have a lineage that goes way back, and our legacy is there, and we're proud to be a part of that. And so it's great to hear your program today.
Well, thank you. And and I've only been with Ronald McDonald House 3 years. So I wish 26 years ago to know every single person. So every single time I walk back in our main room where that fireplace is, and I look at the plaques on it, I see a new name that I'm like, I didn't know they were part of the original. So with regard to our capital campaign, we started phase 1 of the work a few weeks ago. So if you were to drive by the Ronald McDonald House today, we are in the process of painting the exterior of the house. And as we figure out what COVID is doing and restrictions are lifting a little, anytime you guys would love to come out to the house and take a tour, or if Chris, you want to organize some groups to cook, or just groups of you want to come and take a tour of the house and see the house, and as Don said, see the legacy that Kiwanis was part of building, be honored to give tours and show the house to any of you.
Okay, anybody else? I thought I heard someone else starting to speak, so I don't want to cut anyone off. Okay. All right. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for presenting today and taking the time to come out and and give us an update on everything. Fantastic presentation. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'll send you a link with the video. So if you guys, it's a 3-minute video, and it's just one of our stories talking about the impact of what it was like for them when they isolated and had to figure out where to stay. So I'll send that to you, Rachel, and you can share along.
Perfect, thank you. And then just one last reminder for our club, you should have received an RSVP to our induction and awards ceremony. So please make sure to check your email box, get that RSVP put in as quick as possible, especially if you have any special dietary needs, so we can pass that along to the venue and let them know. I think that's it for today. Thank you, everybody. Roland.
A quick question for Bill from Prineville. Is your Kiwanis Club currently meeting in person?
Yes. We meet at the golf club.
Yeah. Okay. Still at noon?
Yes. 12 o'clock every Thursday.
Thank you. I'm the inter-club chair with Redmond, so I'll be in touch.
Great. Looking forward.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time to join our meeting today. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you soon.